Hello legends and super legends. Welcome to Veloharmony. Today I'm going to be talking to you about when to eat when you ride, the frequency of eating and drinking when you ride. We're going to do that right now. I got a call, I got a message from one of our legends. He was asking when I did the last group ride, the spirit ride. He wanted to know what I had eaten and what Paul had eaten and whether we were hungry when we got to the stop or just thirsty or whatever. So I answered him as concisely as I could, and then it dawned on me that this would be a good topic to add to the archives. Well, you know, everybody says, eat before you're hungry, drink before you're thirsty. Sometimes that's not always possible, because if it's a cool day, a lot of times you don't really feel thirsty, and so you end up not drinking as much. Or if it's a situation where, like, when I'm riding hard, I don't like solid foods. So we're going to be talking about what you want, what you need to have depending on the kind of ride you're doing. So if you're riding long endurance rides, you want to take like an apple, a banana. You can even cut up the apples, put them in plastic bag, stick them in your jersey. Whatever you normally snack on at home that will give you good energy. The reason why I talk about apples, oranges, tangerines, they have carbs in them, they have nutrients, it's nutritious. Or some people eat fig bars. I never got into it. I've tried them. They don't work for me, so I don't really carry fig bars. I like granola bars, so I carry that. Sometimes I'll make banana bread and carry that. Whatever you have in the house, you don't have to be buying stuff. I like the granola bars because I made a video almost a year ago where I talked about how inexpensive they are if you get them in bulk from Sam's. So I have them here. Now I also have gels that I order. I like to use the SIS gels. And the reason I like them is because they're isotonic, meaning that when you take them, you don't need to drink water. They go to work right away. Within 5 to 7 minutes, I feel the effects. So what I use as a cue is that not to depend on eating before I'm hungry only or drinking before I'm thirsty. Whenever my mind drifts to where you're riding and you think about a drink, I reach for my bottle. Whenever my mind drifts and I start thinking about, something sweet or whatever, food related, I grab something and start eating. Your mind will cue you. The problem is we end up ignoring that depending on how hard we're riding or whatever else. You can't ignore that. But you want to practice that when you train. You want to take food with you, anything longer than an hour's ride. You want to carry something. The reason you carry that is because you're trying to reformat your metabolism, or your as you exercise, your body says, okay, this guy has a log in a fireplace, and every time the fire goes down, he throws another log in there. So that fire keeps burning. That's an analogy I'm using to show you that when you're exercising consistently and you eat consistently, even when you're not working out, your body continues to burn calories. So you're going to get hungry. Do not neglect yourself. If I'm around the house 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, I feel hungry, I eat something. But I make good choices. I'm not going to eat something super rich late at night to where it's not balanced, it's not giving me nutrition or whatever. Now, it doesn't have to be stuff from the garden or whatever. I mean, I have ginger snaps, I have wheat thins that I'll eat with peanuts or whatever. Yeah, it's just a snack. Or I'll even eat baked chips versus the fried chips. So when we buy foods, we buy the baked chips versus the other ones that have higher calories. And I'm also teaching my children to eat the same way. It's just a matter of making choices. You don't need to change what you eat normally. I'm refraining from using the word diet because people have a tendency to think dieting is restrictive. A diet is what you eat. A diet is, your food choices. That's it. We all have a diet, but everybody here, when they think about diet, they think you're going on a diet. I don't believe those work because depending on how they're done, unless you're going to change your lifestyle. So don't even call it a diet. You're saying that, I'm going to cut out these things, but I'm going to replace them with something else. That's not a diet. That's a lifestyle change. And that's what I like to gear people towards. So, instead of going to the restaurant and getting a baked potato loaded, maybe you can cut that in half or just eat the baked potato with a little bit of butter and salt or something. We have a tendency to overdo on the condiments. So let's come back to riding. The reason I've been talking about food is you can't just depend on eating during the ride. You have to eat when you're off the bike properly. You can't miss meals. When I ride and I get home, within 2 hours, I get a solid meal. The reason is that that's the window where the body will process the food quickly and replenish your reserves, your glycogen levels that you've used, because you burn fat in the presence of carbs. So you're using a little bit of carbs, even on the easy rides, to burn those fats, depending on the effort level. So you want to eat a lot of starches and different things. I will do a different video where I'll make suggestions on the actual diet. But what I want to talk about today is when you're actually riding the bike, pay attention to what your mind is drifting to. Your mind starts thinking about, I'm thirsty. Don't hesitate. Grab the bottle, drink. Because your mind may not say I'm thirsty, but if you start thinking about water or a drink or something like that, then you're behind. Grab the bottle, drink. What people try to say in cycling is every 15 minutes drink, every 30 minutes eat. It's just a guideline or a gauge, because nothing like that works for everybody. Every human being is unique. And that's why when this legend asked about what me and my mate was eating, I only talked about what I did. I don't know what Paul did, because Paul has the process. The process meaning that don't go hungry on the bike. And in that ride, I had been eating off the bike. I had breakfast that morning. Some mornings I get up, I can't have breakfast. I don't feel like eating. I drink Gatorade. I've mentioned that in some of my videos. I may drink Gatorade or some other electrolyte, or maybe have hot cocoa or whatever, liquid. And then I pack my food that I normally take on my training rides. It needs to be something you're used to. I don't depend on event foods. I already know what my body likes, so there are no surprises. That's why my performance level is consistent. I don't shock my system with new things unless I've tried it in training. So the key is that you want to eat well off the bike. You want to eat consistent. I eat about 4 meals a day. They're small. I don't go without, and you shouldn't. And I talked about how I carry my own snacks with me when I'm out of the house or away from, my normal routine. So if you start, like somebody had come and asked about, can I ride while I'm fast? Can I fast and ride? I couldn't get my brain around that. That's like asking me, can I drive my car without gas in it? Okay. You need to eat. If you eat, you will stand a better chance of getting your metabolism to understand that you're going to be doing certain things, meaning this guy feeds us 4 times a day. So your body will get used to that cycle and continue to burn the calories. If you start fasting and starving your body and going on all these fad diets, your body is going to protect itself by storing the calories. And you start messing with your metabolism, that means you will be low on energy. By you keeping that fire burning, that gives you the spark you need to go through your day. That's why whenever possible, you can do a little spin on your trainer before you go out for the day. That's a great way to get your day off to a good start. 15, 20 minutes, that's plenty. Spin a little bit. No heart rate monitor, no nothing. Just sit and spin for 20 to 30 minutes if you have the time. And then you shower, you get ready, you go. You will take that energy with you. You will have a pep in your step versus other people. So don't miss meals. Look at it this way. Whether you're on the bike or whether you're at work working on something, your brain needs the glycogen to function. That's why sometimes you work a long day, you're tired. It's not just exercise that burns calories, brain work. So feed yourself. And then when you're on the bike, you're doing more work. You want to make sure that you feed yourself at regular intervals, which you should have practiced when you were training. That's why I always talk about people, if you want to do a 50-mile Grand Fondo, make sure you've done that in training for a period of time so you know what to expect. Because I can't give you the amount of food to eat. You have to figure out what your body needs. But the key is that don't go without. It's better to end up at the end of the ride with food in your pocket than to not have food when you need it. And so you need to, so as a gauge, you want to make sure that you're eating within every hour. You got to have eaten something. If you're going to be on the bike for several hours, every hour put something in there because you're eating for the subsequent hours. So your energy level stays consistent. And then when it's hot, there's not an issue with drinking when it's hot. you got to drink even more than you normally do. I usually carry, these are 500 milliliter bottles. I use these, and I have the other bottles that are insulated or taller, but they hold the same. And I get through these within 45 minutes, they're empty. They're about, so I have 2. So that means this is an hour and a half normally. Now in the winter or the fall, the weather's milder. These will go 2 hours, maybe 2 hours, 15 minutes thereabout before I get through them. They go longer, and that's why I'm using, these are non-insulated. The weather is milder now this time of year. What I'm trying to point out is that I see a lot of cyclists with 1 bottle. I guess they're trying to save weight. I don't really know why. But if you're doing a long ride, get 2 bottles, put them on your bike. If you have 2 cages, if you don't, get a second cage, if your bike can accommodate it. There is no reason to not have your drinks with you, or trying to think you're saving weight by having 1 bottle. I mean, what if something happens and you're out in the middle of nowhere, there's no store nearby? You see, so you want to be prepared. You want to be prepared. So to summarize, I would just say that eat frequently, drink frequently before you feel hungry and before you feel thirsty. That's the general rule. But also pay attention to what your mind is drifting to during the ride. That's what I do. Your mind will drift towards thinking about drinks when you're falling behind. Don't ignore that. If it comes to your mind, drink. If food comes to your mind, reach for something, eat. Have them ready to where they're easy to get, because that's another reason that discourages people from getting in there. I pre-cut my stuff sometimes, Now, if you're riding really hard, it would be better for you to have liquid. Either you get gels or an electrolyte drink in your bottle instead of just water. When I use these bottles, one of them either have Gatorade or an electrolyte mixture, and I have one with just water. The reason I always have water is if I get perspiration in my eyes or whatever, I can take that bottle and just spray it on there. I always like to have 1 bottle of water because it just makes sense, because sometimes the electrolyte drinks are strong, and then you can use that as a way of mixing them. You can drink some of the electrolyte and drink some of that, especially when it's hot, So I hope this will be helpful, because it's really so variable, and you may have sensed it as I went through this video, that you have to come up with your own program. I can tell you drink every 10 minutes. You may need to drink every 25 minutes or more. Or longer. You might be able to go 40 minutes before you need a drink. Everybody's different. I can't tell you what to do, but I generally drink every 15 to 20 minutes. I'm taking a drink. That's what I've gauged it at. Now, if it's hot, I don't even think about it, because you're going to drink. You're going to be thirsty. You're going to drink. And don't hesitate. Drink more. I pour water on me. I do all kinds of stuff. I carry more when it's hot. When it's hot, you can't play around, because if you don't keep your body hydrated, everything goes up. Temperature goes up. Heart rate goes up. Your performance goes down. Your engine's overheating. You can't perform. So remember that. And then if you have no gas in the tank, you can't perform. So you want to keep the tank full. When you get to half tank, put some food in there. So every 30 minutes or so, eat something. And if you find that 30 minutes is too long for you, eat every 15 minutes. So use these guides for 15 minutes to drink and 30 minutes to eat as a gauge, and then refine it based on what you experience and when you experience at the time of year. How your body behaves when it's cold is different than how your body behaves when it's very hot. Okay? So with that, I'm going to end this video and just say, do not go hungry on the bike.